Have you ever ordered something from Postmates and they deny your delivery?
No, that's never happened to me.
Well, it's happened to me.
Oh.
And guess what? Happens for What's up, everybody?
Hi.
It's episode 2 of Talkin Bout Shiznit.
Hi.
We're back again. Back again, not in white vans. I'm bringing the meme back.
All right. I dare you.
I hate it. I hate that I said that. I'm going to just throw everything while I'm at it, too.
That fast already.
Show's ruined. Scrap it.
Yeah.
Scrap it.
Start over.
Throw it in the trash. As you know, I have not started our Nice Boy clock, and I guess I can do that now.
Okay. Cool.
Nice Boy time. So we can't really swear, and if we do, that's an issue, and Susan is going to get mad at us. Call back.
You know, call back to the episode we have privately listed.
Yeah. As you know, it is always a custom for us to do a AI generated ad.
Yes.
At the beginning. We love AI. We also love what AI comes up with creatively.
Absolutely.
Creatively. So this week, this ad, I haven't really read all this through yet, but it looks insane. Do you want to do the bracketed things for me?
Sure, I can do the bracketed things.
Okay. I am a god amongst men. I don't sleep or walk or even eat. All I do is drink energy drinks. But since taking aimbot, my liver has been stored in a secret lab where I will one day be resurrected to rule the earth as an immortal being made of pure energy and delicious donkey sauce.
Points towards the floor.
So what are you waiting for? You want health? Work out for an hour every day and eat 6 times a day. You want results? Don't take supplements, just drink aimbot and watch ab go bye bye bye.
Holds up 2 fingers. Video ad script.
Cindy Crawford's ugly baby-faced boyfriend, Dave Charvet, sits at home all alone playing Xbox, but wishes he were fresh in the streets, grinding on all them hoes with his boy Lil Wayne. But then he remembers he become too fat from knocking back bottles of Diet Dr. Aimbot. So now his girlfriend wouldn't touch him with her artificial vagina. Not because.
What a great ad.
Great ad. Oh my God.
Buy some aimbot, guys.
Buy some aimbot. It will not let you be in the streets grinding on all them hoes.
With your boy Lil Wayne.
Yeah, and we do not have Diet Dr. Aimbot.
Although product idea.
Yeah, Diet Dr. Aimbot. Dr. Aimbot would be pretty sick.
Yeah.
We could partner with Doc Disrespect and Dr. Aimbot, whatever. That might not be good for his already not good public image.
You know what? Email us.
Doc, hit us up. You're not going to see this. Yeah. Artificial vagina. Really? I thought this was nice boy time.
Yeah.
Baby time.
A little risque.
Yeah, a little risque. So what's going on this week with aimbot?
We're kind of still in this like pre-launch phase.
Yeah. He's been in like content idea generation phase,
mm-hmm.
which is fun in its own right, but it's also like oh crap, we have all this stuff we have to do at some point. It's just a matter of when do we take the abstract and make it definitive.
Mm-hmm.
Which is always fun to kind of like realize an idea that we have.
Absolutely.
But it's also like, crap, can we pull this off the way that I imagined pulling this off type thing?
That seems to kind of define our careers.
It's very just like, we'll figure it out.
We're very much like, hey, we have this big grand idea. Hey, we don't have the budget to hire like a team
or any budget.
or any budget really. Yeah,
we've got our phones and a little Sony camera.
Yeah, I feel like that is our skill set, is building new skill sets based on our current needs.
Yeah, we are the prime definitions for master of none.
Yeah.
We have to do so much different, like so many different tasks, but
yeah, I feel like a
lot. Yeah. A lot of what we like fall back on or have to do is nothing that we're like the most proficient in, or would be like I mean, that's probably a lie too. There's a lot of stuff that we're good at that we do.
Sure.
Do.
Yeah, poop joke.
But yeah, what were you saying while I interrupted you?
I like to think of us as like Swiss Army sporks.
Yeah.
We're generalists. And we do have, I think, specialized skills, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
But it pretty much always boils down to like which of us has the stronger foot in this general category, and then like
that
let's
person
deep
takes
dive.
the lead.
Yeah, and then like let's deep dive down and figure out how to do this thing, like learning 3D or
right,
a different Adobe suite piece of software or whatever it might be. It all, I just kind of stumbled into this segue here.
Mm-hmm.
But most of what we do is design adjacent.
Yeah,
I
would agree,
because in today's landscape, like we started this company to make the world's best energy drink. That was the goal. And the thing about starting a company is that it's so much more than just the product itself.
Right.
You have to make things like logos and packaging and marketing materials and social media content,
web design.
Yeah, like I've been into web design since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like I learned HTML so that I could make a cooler theme for my Neopets guild.
Hell yeah.
That's what started it all, was Neopets.
Yeah, my HTML experience probably began at like MySpace profile stuff and ended at Tumblr websites or like Tumblr profile customizations.
Yeah, that was kind of like the tail end of like customized web presence for individuals, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like now you have to either build yourself a website or you just have a LinkedIn and a Facebook and a whatever.
Yeah, or it's incredibly like template driven.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything I think is aggressively template driven in today's world. Pretty much everything. Like,
which to a degree comes with like optimization.
Yeah, there's huge benefits. Like the web is so fast now, and anybody can do it. Like it's what's cool is that you don't have to have $20 million to kickstart a business anymore. You can you can have a dream and like $60. You can open a Shopify website.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can pay for a couple months of Squarespace to get your stuff going.
Absolutely. And that stuff's really cool. But you still have to be kind of a dynamic individual, I think.
Yeah.
You either need to be hiring out for everything or you need to learn to do it yourself.
Right.
And
unless you have the money to hire out,
you got to do it yourself.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think that it's kind of a beautiful time for entrepreneurs because if you have the motivation, you can do the thing. It's pretty much what it boils down to. The tools are there for you.
Yeah.
You can, there's a free version of pretty much every program.
Yeah. You can even like Ergo, like Crappy Worldwide, like those shirts on TikTok that we dig. Like that dude probably just had Photoshop.
Yeah.
Set up like a Printful account and a Shopify store to fulfill and like just sell one thing. Like, just get really good at your one thing and figure out how to market that to the people that need to see it.
Which means that like if you are able to get something rolling within a month, that means that your maximum investment to get started is under $100.
Yeah.
It's like $15, I think, for your first month of Shopify, then it goes up to like 30. Adobe Suite is what, like $40-$50 a month?
Somewhere around
for
there.
The whole suite.
Yeah, if you are like in college, if you're a student and stuff, it's dramatically cheaper. Like I know I was getting the full Adobe Suite. I don't think I was getting Adobe stock with it, but I think the full suite was $20 a month.
That's pretty
instead
awesome.
of like the $50 that it's at right now.
That's so powerful for $20 for that kind of tool.
Yeah, for literally every Adobe thing. Like there was stuff that I would find later that I didn't even know I had. Like when we started using Adobe Dimension when we were doing some like product mock-ups and stuff, like I had no experience using Dimension. I didn't know I had it.
Yeah.
But I knew I needed rendering software. And this was the thing where I was like, oh man, like this actually is super helpful and is actually I would say Dimension's one of the most user-friendly Adobe products out there.
Absolutely. It's so easy to pick up.
It's the easiest one by far, because I know, like, even you just telling me stuff, like, because you mostly worked in Illustrator.
Yeah.
And I did most of my stuff in Photoshop. I was really fluent with that. And then having to, like, relearn not Ableton, wow, different program that I use. Like, all the Adobe suite programs, UI or workflow, is minutely, but at the same time dramatically different from platform to platform.
That is kind of like, it's the double-edged sword of the Adobe suite, because they do have like a central, like, core functionality. Like, the buttons are generally, like, you know, most of the tools are on the left-hand side. You're working in the middle of the screen. The right-hand side is like for settings, typically across the Adobe suite. But yeah, from program to program, the tools that are there are totally different. And it's weird how you have, like, the initial, like, how to start a project is the same across the whole Adobe suite.
Yeah.
But then
it's good luck from there.
Yeah, exactly. Figure it out.
Yeah. Start watching some tutorials, or since we're out of baby time, fucking figure it out.
Yeah. Learn to Google is the key.
Yeah. I would say that we are, I'm the one with the degree, but most of the shit that I still do and you do is like Google University or YouTube University. It's a lot of like, let me find someone specialized in this to tell me what exactly I'm trying to accomplish right now.
Absolutely.
And then I'll use that in my own
and then it's
method.
A tool in your tool belt.
Yeah.
And then you can start making your own things.
Yeah. Because there's like tons of people that I go to, like, not only just for like Adobe stuff, but like even how to digitally articulate like an aesthetic choice, or like how can I make this process that I want to use in my own way, like show me the steps to do that. Like there's so many people that I look to on like YouTube and stuff that have helped form my own creative like voice, yeah. Which is like hard to do in a digital or like a visual digital medium, I feel like, because there's so much like, to do this you have to follow XYZ steps,
right,
and that gets you to a very specific result. But then figuring out how to take that and adapt it in new ways is like very key to getting your own voice out there.
Absolutely. You have to play around.
Yeah.
And you know, that's kind of like the beauty of what we get to do is, I mean, we're not playing around all the time, but we stumble into cool stuff often. And we are able to experiment with both our own artistic styles as well as being constrained by the brand.
Right.
Because, you know, at the end of the day, like, branding is key. And it has to be consistent between things. Yeah. But as we develop our, you know, new skills and, you know, find new software to do this new thing, it's, you know, finding the bridge between the two, kind of.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's not only like sticking with the branding, but being able to convey said branding in a visual sense, as well as like having the audience understand what you're going for.
Absolutely. And then also not coming off as amateurish.
Which is the hard thing about not outsourcing to people that have done this for a long time, where it's like just Chris and I doing these things. Is there's so many times where I know I say it almost every day when I'm working, is like, I don't like how this is looking. Like, I wouldn't be comfortable putting this out there professionally in that sense.
Well, we get there.
Yeah.
We basically, instead of investing money in stuff, we invest time.
Yeah.
Which in its own sense is money, because we get paychecks.
Yeah.
We have bills to pay. But I think it enables us to do more stuff faster down the road. But also, when we do have the budget to invest in something, you know, I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. What did I say?
When we have time to invest in something, it's almost like we know what we want and how to articulate that better to those people.
To an artist or whoever we're hiring. We can even come to them with like something that's 70% of what we want, and we're like, you know, add that polish, that professional polish to the thing.
Yeah, kind of what I did with like the Evolve stuff. Like, I came up sort of with like the thought of the branding and the generalized look of it, like almost down to like what the real designer was doing with that, where like he just tweaked it a little bit to take like I don't know how to exactly convey this thing, but this is how I want it to be.
Right.
And then just making that more realized than what
Mhm.
I could present at the time. And then it's like, oh, going back and looking at that, I understand what he did. I'm going to incorporate that more in what I do type thing.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a give and a take from both parties. It's like, I'll give you most of this idea. You just polish it up, and then I'll understand what you did so that my ideas can be better formulated next time.
Exactly. And so here's a little insight to us folks. 99% of the stuff aimbot puts out, we did ourselves. We occasionally do outsource help, but a big bulk of it is the two of us, and now our new intern who you can't see, Daniel's son, the necklace Don.
Jamie.
Hey Jamie, pull that up.
Jamie.
But yeah, we've I think we're really fortunate with our position that we get to experiment with stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like that fortune feeds back into it and grants us more freedom to do those things because we have a building skill set, constantly evolving. And design's just fucking cool, man.
Design's really cool.
I fucking love design.
Yeah, I even just like, because I know you do this sometimes where you just create brands and then try to create a visual package for them.
Totally. I do it all the time at home.
Yeah, I try to do that within like my own thing, not necessarily a product, but like let me convey this like idea that I have through a visual medium, which is where it's like I try to have like that clothing thing that I'm trying to do. It's like I really want to like realize that visual concept and be able to present that in a very cool way in a physical medium at some point. But yeah,
it's really satisfying because you can learn things about existing brands by making up one. Like, like I wanted to experiment with colorful packaging. Like, so with aimbot, our stuff is very like, it's primarily dark with accents of bright colors. And I wanted to experiment with the opposite, where it's primarily bright colors with other either white or black accents.
Mm-hmm.
So I made up an entire cosmetic line called Hue.
Okay.
And it, nobody's ever going to see this. I'm never going to upload it anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It was an exercise to feel it out and learn how that informs the bigger picture.
Right.
And that kind of shit's just really, really fun. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to gain from doing that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good creative outlet because, you do music.
Yeah.
I don't have anything like that. You guess. Yeah.
Beep boop music.
But I don't have outlets like that really, except I guess TikTok, like the idiot engineering TikTok stuff, which I don't really actively pursue because
Chris Consumes.
Yeah. Chris Consumes does exist.
You guys will see Chris Consumes at some point. I think it's genius. It's the weirdest genius ever because it's so specific.
Yeah.
In every sense of specificity, like the type of content, the like data involved in the content is so specific.
Yeah.
That like if you get it type thing.
Yeah. I literally sat down one night and measured Oreos with a caliper for like an hour and got averages so that I could have data about the averages for Oreos, so I was making a Chris Consumes video and it was about some limited edition Oreos. It was the carrot cake
which are delicious.
Yeah, they're so good. And the hazelnut spread Oreos.
Mids.
Yeah, they're not that great. And I initially made a device that I could use to measure the milk soaking potential of different Oreo SKUs because the carrot cake ones are extremely crunchy. And I was like, I wonder if these hold more or less milk than a traditional Oreo. So I made a little rig where I could basically put Oreos in it, weigh the whole rig, dunk them in milk, let them soak up milk for a certain amount of time, and then weigh them after to determine how much milk they soaked up. So he's pulled it up.
The Dunkerator. It is the world's first multi-Oreo dunking device. So here it is.
Nice hair.
Thanks.
I love that became part of the brand for your thing. So like, let me fuck my hair up before every video.
So, little funny insight to this. I don't know how funny it really is, but it was a calculated choice of me doing my hair like this because as you know, I normally wear a hat.
Yeah.
I took my hat off and I kind of just did one of these because I was like, what does the guy who invents an Oreo dunker look like?
Fair enough. Yeah.
It's an exaggerated version of me. But I uploaded this. I mean, it was like 2 a.m. when I shot that.
Yeah. It didn't do too much within the first like 12 hours or so, and then it exploded.
Yeah, I went to bed. It had 8 views and 0 likes. And like when I uploaded it, I was like, this is it's like a fart joke. It's an engineering fart joke.
Yeah.
And I thought, maybe 100 people would see it and like 5 of them would laugh. And then I wake up the next morning and it has, I think it had like 3,000 or 4,000 views. And I was like, uh-oh. And then I came to work and I showed it to you and I was like, hey, I think I might have fucking accidentally did something.
Yeah.
And then, before lunch, it was at, I think we were in like the 50, 60K views.
Yeah.
By the end of that day, I crossed 1 million.
Yeah. It was absolutely insane to be sitting there and you would refresh and it would just go up by like 1,000.
Yeah. And
every second. Just
yeah.
voop, 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 and just tally itself up.
It was really crazy. And it was honestly one of the more terrifying things that's ever happened to me.
You got so scared. You deleted all of your social media.
I deleted all my social media because contrary to what I'm doing right now, and in a lot of other platforms, you would think like, oh, Chris likes attention. He likes to be on camera. He likes to do this stuff.
This was never the plan.
I don't.
Even at the inception of aimbot, you're like, I don't want anyone to ever see what I look like.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that like you guys like it. You like us. You really like us.
You really like us. But yeah, I genuinely like from day one, I was like, I don't want to be the face of the company. I want to run the company. It was my idea. I want to see it through. But lo and behold, here we are.
Here we are talking on camera for
we're
hours.
Yeah. By choice.
Yeah. We wanted to do this.
But yeah,
we built this room.
But yeah, in reality, I'm a very private, introverted guy. I have my close friends that I can talk to for hours, which is why this show is possible.
Yeah.
But like if there were an audience, I wouldn't be able to do this.
No.
Genuinely. Like
yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do it live.
Daniel, get out. No.
No, we need you to control the cameras. So they can see me talk. But yeah, it's really weird how it's played out. But yeah, like what does it have? 2.6 million views or something like that?
Yeah.
Terrifying to me. Like I still have issues with it. It's been almost a year now.
Yeah.
And like sometimes I'll be like laying in bed and I'm like, millions of people have seen my face and heard my voice. And like, I mean, it's real. Like, what is it? I have like almost 20,000 followers or something on here.
Yeah.
It's weird, guys.
Over 500,000 likes.
Like, I don't deserve it. And I didn't want it. I was just trying to make a joke and it really blew up.
I gotta hear this ranch sound again.
Oh God.
This shit cracks me up every time I hear it. You filled that fucking thing up. God damn.
And you can see on my face I'm not happy about it.
No, dude.
Instant regret.
That is such a gross video, and I commend you for committing. Flashbacks, dude. You didn't. I don't think you still eat ranch.
I've had ranch I think twice since then. When was that?
This was
in December.
Yeah.
This is before Christmas. And it's the nastiest thing I've ever done, I think.
Yeah.
And I legit could not eat ranch for months.
Yeah.
I am just now getting to it.
But I think this almost brings up like some of the things that we did with this was like realizing it's a cool product that people wanted, and then speed running a business.
Yeah. We did it. We had a website up the next day.
Yeah. The next day we were taking pre-orders. You LLC'd.
Yeah. The next day.
Yeah. And then once we finally got everything and got it manufactured,
like look at all these packages. That was just one day of packing.
That was day one after we got our shit.
And I think it was 4 of us packing orders all day.
Yeah.
Like we started at 9 a.m. and at this point, this part of the video, it was I guess, right around 4 because the post office closes at 4:30.
Yeah.
So right before they closed for the day, I showed up with literally thousands of packages for them.
Yeah. Our local post office fucking hates us.
Yeah.
We have overloaded them with stuff so many times. Like even with
Yeah, because aimbot kind of went viral when we first started.
yeah. We're still working to try to get that to happen again and happen consistently. But like we went from like nothing really going on, whatever. And then we had a really big video and then like holy crap.
Yeah, and it happened again like overnight. Yeah, here's us packing just oodles of orders.
Yeah, let me mute Missy Elliott real quick. But like so crazy like how many things were going out. Don't even
Like like as an entrepreneur, this stuff's a dream come true.
yeah.
Like show it like evidence that people are interested in what you make and are putting their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, we spent like a year and a half building up the base of the company, you know, like getting like designing tubes, designing the labels,
Yeah.
making a website, like all this little stuff. And, you know, there was very little return on it at that point.
Mhm.
And then we kind of blew up on TikTok.
Yeah.
And-
I mean I guess we had some return at like our 1.0 launch.
Yeah, but that was just business to business.
Yeah, that was Will being good at his job.
Yeah, Will, shout out Will, one of the best salesmen in the world. On our first run of aimbot, I made it alone at the lab. I did it overnight. It was during the George Floyd protests. Like it was right after that. And I did an overnight shift and I was watching the protests live on my laptop while I mixed because it took all night. It took, I think, 14 hours for me to do it because it was all completely by hand. I think I did like 2,000 or 3,000 tubes.
Yeah.
And
I think I was there one night helping you too.
you
Probably not that
you helped-
initial, but I did help.
I think you helped
later.
with labeling the next day. I think it was maybe or
Potentially.
maybe
I hope-
it was the rebatch.
It was the rebatch.
It was
You're
the
right.
rebatch.
You're right.
Because
Because I was like, I don't remember doing it that early because it was still like all you at that point. They had me like really at the lab doing stuff.
yeah,
But like once I was able to, I'm like, dude, stick me on it. Like, let's go.
yeah, because I did that run. I finished at about 5:30 in the morning, and so I texted Will. I'm like, hey, there's this many. I think it was 2,000 or 3,000. It's like I made these. They're ready to go. You know, have at it. And then when I woke up later that day, I think I woke up around noon, maybe 1. And I had a text from him saying, hey, we're sold out. He sold it all in about 4 hours.
Yeah.
Which was mind blowing to me at that time.
Mind bottling.
Mind bottling. My mind was going a mile an hour.
Yeah. But like it still like trips me out to this day that like this video is us loading up boxes and this was our 4th trip to the post office that day and we still had this many going out.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean,
We were just bringing trucks like nonstop the other day, just shifts of trucks.
yeah, it was so awesome. I mean, like that's one of the fondest memories of mine.
Yeah. Shout out to Sharkeisha.
Yeah, Sharkeisha to God.
We wouldn't have had that crazy of a reaction if it wasn't for Sharkeisha.
Yeah, he really found a way to make it resonate with people, and overnight success. And
Yeah.
because of that, we've been able to pursue new things
And refine
and
this.
yeah, and refine our product. And we also had a lot of fun making TikToks.
Yeah, our TikToks were just getting dumber and dumber, more ridiculous, and offending more people.
And we had, we ended up kind of getting shadow banned.
Yeah.
We don't fully understand why. We have suspicions. We're trying to overcome it now.
Yeah, but I guess to make a long story short, we're not able to do paid business advertisements through our platform anymore.
Nope.
We don't know if that's due to a verbiage issue. The product itself was getting flagged for false reasons. We were providing TikTok with nutritional information, laboratory tests, and they were just like non-compliant with us essentially.
They decided that we're a pharmaceutical product, which we're not.
Yeah. And we never advertised it to be that.
Yeah, we never did anything remotely pharmaceutical, but they decided we were, probably from either an AI or a uninformed person who works there that flagged us as that, and we can't get unflagged.
they've terminated our business
our business
contract
account.
for the most part, which is a shame because we're set up as a business profile.
Mm-hmm.
So the suite where you would do any business interactions and like set these things up, we can
even
get
open
to it, but like you can't interact with it.
Yeah, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
It's really frustrating. But
Yeah.
this isn't the complaint about TikTok hour. But
Yeah,
we
no.
are mad. We are a little salty.
Yeah. Chris, his Discord name is still Chris banned from TikTok.
Yeah.
in our thing.
I am a TikTok support ticket holder.
Yep. But yeah, speaking of old aimbot,
yeah, there's 1.0.
Yeah, there was Proto 1, aimbot halfer.
Yeah, we've come a long way.
Yeah, but yeah, I remember doing that with you. Individual squeeze bottles full of liquid, filling each one by hand.
Took forever.
Yeah, days of work to get like 5,000 units out.
Yeah, it was a lot of hard work.
Yeah, everything was done by hand at that time. Like not even just filling them, but closing them, applying labels, heat shrinking each individual tube with everything. That it took so long.
We were basically losing money on every single one with labor costs.
Right, yeah.
But it was, to prove the product.
Yeah.
That picture right there of me, that I got so many mixed emotions about it. We got the first ever box for aimbot, and a week before one of my closest friends had died. And so I'm crying in that picture.
Yeah.
Because he was supposed to be there. But, I try to look at it positively in hindsight about, that was the beginning of the business we have now.
Yeah.
And that was a good day that day. We got our boxes. And that was really, really powerful.
Hell yeah.
That enabled us to do stuff. So,
yeah.
So the real topic for today is design.
So art.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm, as we already established, we're both really into design. I think we both kind of have slightly different obsessions with design.
Yeah.
We're unified by some of it, but I think that my obsessions are more toward like industrial design, like products and like structures and stuff like that. I really like I'm super into 3D printing and like rapid prototyping and stuff like that. So whereas you're more into I think more like a digital kind of thing, like music, imagery, things like that.
Yeah, a lot more abstract stuff, almost like self-referential digital art, like intentionally digital looking things.
Yeah.
Or taking something that looks organic and make it seem like tech.
Yeah.
Or like digital punk type stuff. Like there's a lot of stuff that I enjoy too that like I don't think it has been classified as like an art style necessarily, but it has influences from like so many different things just kind of mashed all together. And then you have individual artists that are like doing their own things with that type of style. Which that's just like something that I look to try to do is like I like these styles so much, but I want to bring my own version of those things.
Yeah, they influence you.
Yeah.
Like Orion.
Yeah, I'm super influenced by Orion. I've bought so many hats. And watched so many VTubers.
I think design that's kind of like what's so cool about design is that it is so like it's all encompassing. Like everything that you interact with at any moment has design. Like it was designed by a person, typically by a person. Sometimes computers do some of the lifting.
Yeah.
But primarily it's designed by a person to be experienced in a way. And I know that's like a weird, like hoity-toity, lame-ass, like art school type. I mean, it's not even art school. I didn't go to school. I don't know anything about shit. But like...
I don't know anything about shit.
I really don't. I'm a fucking idiot. But like design is just like so cool. Like there's a wonderful podcast. If you're even remotely into design, you don't know about this podcast. It's called 99% Invisible, and it's by a guy named Roman Mars. And basically, it's about how things that are designed really well, or like there's things in everyday life that you interact with and don't think of,
Yeah.
but they were very thoughtfully designed, like doorknobs. Like how much thought do you put into the doorknob you use? You just fucking turn it and walk in the door.
Yeah.
But like that took so much time and money to make possible.
Right.
And so it's a podcast about that, and it really like reframed my perspective on a lot of things because I love design, and that got me in the door, and then it made me think about how I approach everything. So I mean, like the first hopping off point is actually something I learned about on that podcast, is the Herman Miller AERON chair. I'm sitting in one right now.
Yes, you are sitting in one. We have not only one here, but we have two in our office.
Yeah, we have them. I sit in one every single day. I've been sitting in that same Herman Miller AERON as long as I've been associated with all these companies here. So almost a decade I've been sitting in that chair.
Yeah.
I love that chair. And I know what you're thinking, like, it's a fucking chair. Who the fuck gives a shit?
It's not even a gamer chair.
It's not just a chair. It's a Herman Miller AERON.
It's a lifestyle.
So this chair is credited with like so much stuff. Like this chair, I mean, not this exact one I'm sitting in, but
that chair,
this exact one, I stole it. Like it's in the the Museum of Modern Art. It's part of the permanent collection is the Herman Miller AERON. It's a pretty influential chair. Because so from my understanding, it first came out in 1994. And businesses used to be, I think, a lot more formal, and like the type of chair that you sat in was kind of indicative of your job.
That makes sense.
So like the boss man had a big, nice plush leather chair, and
with
then,
like the studding in it. And
yeah,
everything.
exactly. Yeah. And then as you kind of go down the line, the chairs get shittier and shittier to like, you know, the janitor or whatever, like they just have like a
Dumbass rolling chair.
like not even that, they'll have like a full like one of those metal ones where it, like it's just feet, it's like the equivalent of like a plastic lawn chair, but it's made of metal.
Yeah.
Like it's just shitty chair to sit in, especially if you're gonna sit there for 8 hours. Like I mean, like you see like a lot of security guards and they have a stool, they don't even have like a backrest.
Yeah.
It's so fucked up. So basically Herman Miller is a design company, and these two guys that work there were tasked with making the next generation of office chair. And what's cool about this chair is that it's kind of like ergonomic first, but it's also super designy.
Yeah.
It looks really cool. And you can see its design language in other chairs. Like you're sitting in a knockoff of a Herman Miller AERON right now.
I am, yeah.
And
I'm sitting in this one because it makes me look taller. I think the cushion's fucked up, and that's probably why.
Yeah, because you're kind of sitting forward on it.
I'm sitting forward, but it still looks like I'm slouching.
So
Riddle me that.
The AERON, it's you know, it's super adjustable.
Yeah.
Like the armrests go multiple directions. It's made out of mesh, like the whole thing. It's like a hard plastic frame, but it's got a mesh that you sit on, so it like kind of like that is the cushion, is the material stretching. And like you can like plop down into it and it just kind of catches you. Like you don't like bottom out on this chair. And so the story, as I understand it, is basically this chair came out and it kind of became like the great equalizer for office chairs, because it was kind of in the middle of the .com boom.
Okay.
So, you know, like these companies would get all this VC money and build a crazy office. And basically that enabled them to spend money on whatever they wanted. So they would buy everybody Herman Miller AERONs because they look cool. And it made kind of like, it was almost like signaling like equity. Like everybody here has the same chair. You know, we treat everybody equally. We want people to be comfortable at work. Because, you know, honestly, sitting down for 8 or more hours it can take a toll on your body negatively. We're not meant to be sitting all day. We should be standing. And I think over time we've trended toward like stand desks and stuff like that to get away from that.
Yeah.
But, you know, like it got to the point where people were referred to this chair as the .com throne.
Okay.
because it kind of like it was like a signal of like when the dot-com bubble burst, a lot of companies closed basically overnight and then left behind just an ocean of these chairs behind in empty office buildings, and it's kind of like a symbol of that bubble burst. But what's something that really blows my mind about it is like the resale market. So this chair that I'm sitting in, we got used because they hold up so well. So like to buy a new one, it starts at about, I think, $1,300 for a new chair, which to a lot of people, that's a lot of money for a chair.
Yeah.
If you ask any boomer, they'll tell you that you should invest in anything that separates you from the ground. That means chairs, beds, shoes. You know, those are important things to spend money on, which I kind of agree with as I get older.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
And like, I didn't know about this chair when I first got it. I didn't realize what I was getting. It was just the chair at the desk that I was assigned to. And over time I fell in love with it, and it's the best chair ever made, in my opinion. And a lot of people agree. And a couple of other cool things is like it's made of recycled materials, and 94% of the chair itself is recyclable. But nobody does that. Nobody throws away one of these things. Nobody recycles them.
Yeah, they're just passed around.
You can buy, so they've been around since 1994. You can buy a 1994 Herman Miller AERON today for $550. Easy.
Yeah.
Like easily. That is a 20-year-old chair, or almost 30-year-old chair.
Yeah. And it's only depreciated like half.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so for those of you out there who want to have a great office chair and you want it to be the last office chair you have to buy, I would definitely recommend getting a Herman Miller AERON. You can find them used pretty easily, like on eBay and stuff. You're going to pay a lot for shipping because they're big and kind of heavy. But if you are patient and keep an eye out, you can get one for like $350, which is a fucking amazing deal.
Yeah.
And then you will literally never need another chair.
And this podcast is sponsored by Herman Miller AERON.
I'm really passionate about this chair. But I don't know. I think it's a really beautiful example of like timeless design.
Yeah.
Because it's been slightly revamped since 1994. But
Yeah.
not a lot.
No. Yeah, not a lot. And like, I feel like its original intent has held up through time too. Because like, you know me, and I like a lot of like 90s and like early 2000s inspired graphic design. Very it's like it comes from all kinds of things, just like the shapes used, like both like very round objects and also very angular things too, metallics and like iridescence and stuff. Just like there's a Twitter account that I follow that's called Pure Life Eternal, and essentially a lot of what they do is just collect pictures of like 2000s and 90s products, just designed things. And I'll just go through and just skim through this and just find like all kinds of cool stuff. Like the use of like clear plastics and stuff was like so big in like late
huge
90s, early 2000s.
Everybody had that purple Game Boy.
Yeah, purple Game Boy, clear DualShock controllers, Hatsune Miku. I guess 90s Hatsune Miku. That's pretty cool.
I didn't know she was that old.
Aphex Twin stuff, like all this stuff is just like I love the look of it. It's incredibly dated.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it has this like, there was something about that time period that was so futurist, and it wanted everything to be very futurist, and like this is a representation of like we're in the future now. Like this is what it is.
I think that was kind of like the beginning of the age where we recognized like, yo, like shit's really changing.
Yeah.
Shit's really
technology
fast.
boom was like trying to be present and like let's make everything seem high tech and like look at what the fuck is this?
That looks like those prison TVs.
Yeah. They're playing Resident Evil 3. Nemesis, baby.
I've never seen a clear PS1. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I really like it. Like even like advertising and stuff, like the chromes and like liquid metals and stuff, which I guess sort of like to like segue into the other thing that I like. sort of like a I wouldn't say it's necessarily modern, but a design style that I really like that kind of takes those like liquid chromes and stuff is the metal heart genre.
Yeah.
Metal heart's really, really cool. I love it. This is also a great website too, the Aesthetics Wiki.
Already excited.
It's fantastic. It's just a wiki dedicated to styles of things, but like it's extremely futurist, like, and it's almost like what I was talking about earlier, where it has like it's almost like biomech influence type stuff. If I can even, like, where are these links taking me? Can I just see what they look like? Good lord.
There's a gallery button. You just missed it.
You're a gallery
Control
button.
Shift T that shit.
Control Shift T.
Scroll down. Show.
Haha. All this gross 2000s like
busy interface.
Yeah, a lot of it does come from interface design principle from that, but like something about this is just like I love it so much. It's such like a strong aesthetic choice, and it's a very I like there's certain design things that I like to call maximalist art, where there's so much happening that it's like the whole thing itself becomes the subject.
It kind of feels like freeze frames from like action scenes in anime.
Yeah.
Like it's just, there's so much going on, and it's like super high detail.
Yeah. And there's almost a sense of like an ethereal fantasy element to it too. Like with how it's like some of the colors can be like washed out, or it's like you have these like lens flares and stuff. And it's just like, I don't know, it's so complicated, and like you have these like tech UI elements that are kind of hidden in here. Like there's so many like people that are doing this very creatively. There's even a guy that I got to chat with about music first, but I think they do all of their visual art as well. I think it's Volant is what they go by. Yeah. But they make a lot of like hard dance music, but they also do all of their own graphic design, motion graphics and everything. And it is all just that type of stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And I love that it's like, it just keep bringing back that it's just like, it seems like an organic material, but it's not. And I just find it super fascinating. Because it's like fractally, it's all kinds of stuff.
It's kind of like you know how like in the 60s they were all like, we're gonna have flying cars, and like, you know, like
it's an idealist future presentation.
Yeah, it's like the paleo future.
Yes.
It's like all the furniture in A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah. It's what I imagine like the neurons in a robot are like.
Yeah.
Like whatever's firing in their brain is fucking like this shit.
Absolutely.
Just wireframes and shit.
Yeah, I love this stuff.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, which I guess could bring up like what are like some like design philosophies or styles that you appreciate? Because I know you appreciate the very like modern, very like sleek presentations, like because I like it too. Like while I like maximalist artwork, I appreciate minimalist because you have to be very deliberate with how you present it.
Yeah. You know, I think it's like so cool how, like, for example, like at the end of the day, it's minimalism. But like, for example, like we'll just use Facebook as an example, or I guess it's now Meta, but let's talk about Facebook.
Boo.
So if you think about it in a lot of ways, Facebook owns the letter F and that particular shade of blue. Like you can see that anywhere and you know what it is. And I think that's the case for a lot of really iconic brands, is how you can own something that low level. Like for example, the board game Taboo. You've played Taboo, right?
Yeah.
You know, they got like the little buzzer for when you like say the word you shouldn't say or whatever. If you look at it on the underside of
that purple is copyrighted.
Purple, they have copyrighted a purple.
Yeah.
And
they have the hex code on
the
there
hex
too.
code is printed on the buzzer.
Yeah.
And like that kind of shit just fucking really gets me going, because I just really, really love like the power of color and like fonts and things like that. Like I like
Chris has font books.
I do. I literally have multiple books that are just about fonts. I'm obsessed with fonts. And I just think it's like so powerful how you can take something that's ultimately kind of abstract and doesn't really on its own carry a lot of weight, but when you use it this way, it becomes a brand where people instantly recognize it. Like, I mean, Twitter owns birds, basically.
Yeah. Tumblr owns tea.
Yeah.
Like the
Bank of America pretty much owns the American flag at this point.
YouTube owns the play button.
Yeah,
basically,
it's so
which
crazy.
is crazy because when you think about like the early app design on the iPhone, it was like an old TV and it looked like fucking shit.
It was a horrible logo,
so bad.
Yeah, so that we can actually talk about something I don't like, which is, I mean, I guess I like it conceptually, but I don't like it in practice. Is skeuomorphism.
Skeuomorphism.
Skeuomorphism is
God, look at that
ugh.
fucking ugly emoji.
That's skeuomorphism. So skeuomorphism is when you do a digital representation of something. SKEU. Skeuomorphism. It's like taking it's representing a real world thing digitally.
Okay.
So it's like if an iPhone had a radio app, it would like be putting knobs in the app to change the channel. That's
okay.
skeuomorphism.
Okay.
And like that was really big in Apple's design language early on.
Yeah.
They still do it a lot, but they've become a lot more abstract because they basically did it as a stepping stone, because the iPhone when it first came out was kind of a groundbreaking technology. Like, I mean, it wasn't the first smartphone, but it was the first one to do it right. And they made it really, really simple and easy to understand. So like, there's lots of little things like there's that like generic boomer Facebook meme about like, I pulled out a floppy disk and the kid was like, "Hey, you 3D printed a save button." Well,
yeah,
the save button is skeuomorphism from when you had to save things to floppy disks.
Right.
And then over time, it just became that symbol.
You guys remember floppy disks?
Remember floppies? I used to have to turn in school assignments on floppy disks.
Me too. I had 2 different sizes of floppies.
So, like, you know, but over time, we get further and further separated from it.
Right.
And then it kind of becomes like a, what's the word? It's like a remaining...
A relic.
Yeah, it's a relic. There we go.
Yeah.
It's a relic of a time past.
Yeah. It's not only just like a relic, but it's referencing something that no longer holds meaning to the user, which makes the user ultimately more confused at what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's funny too when we look at skeuomorphism too, because I see it so much in my thing.
Yeah.
This is specifically with like audio plugins and like effects things, is a lot of times they are modeled after analog gear. And even if it's a knockoff of a like a really famous compressor is like a CLA 2A compressor, like a 2A compressor, and you have all these digital versions that are taking the design of the like 2A compressor and just making it subtly different to a compressor, or like a WA compressor. I think originally it's the Teletronics. The LA2A is...
This was a literal rack hardware compressor.
This is literally what it looks like. Like, this is a person with the physical version. And then you have the Chris Lord-Alge G2A, which is like his brand of the Teletronics 2A. You have like a digital version of the LA2A. You have I think Native Instruments makes their own version of the 2A as well. But it's so funny, just like that you could revolutionize, not even revolutionize, but you could just make it so much more approachable from a user standpoint. Not that this isn't approachable if you know how to use compression, but
yeah, like, I mean, it's 3 knobs.
Yeah, it's as simple as it gets. It's a 1-band compressor and it does its thing. But like, there's so many different things where it's like, let me just model exactly what it is. You have like the 3A, which is subtly different. There might be some like passive controls or like side chaining, but that's getting out of design into audio shit. But like, this is so prevalent in like my thing because there's so many dudes that harp on like the analog thing that it's almost like a better thing to do in some cases is to self-reference the analog to influence like
You're selling the idea basically.
yeah, you're selling the idea and you're trying to sell the original tone that the analog gear was presenting. You're like, this digital thing that's going to save you thousands of dollars is going to get you tonally the same thing as this analog thing that you remember or have seen. Yeah, you see it in like studios and stuff and you're like, I can't afford or don't have space for physical hardware, but this digital thing is so close to the analog version.
And then there's like there's that really cool software you showed me. It's like that totally free open source analog synthesis software where you like literally like put patches in, like you like drag in units.
VCV rack.
VCV rack.
Yeah, which is a like modular synthesis thing.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I understand why they do it that way, but there's no reason they needed to.
No.
It like you literally have to like take digital patch cables and link together different units.
Which is also how Propeller Head's Reason works as well.
Yeah, Reason did it too. I do remember that.
Yeah, because essentially you have your sequencer window, which is just like regular digital piano roll, but you have your audio units or like VSTs or whatever, but they're presented as like hardware rack mounts, and you only see the front approach. But when you hit tab, it flips the view backwards to the patching side of it, as if you would be running it through like a regular patch bay in a studio. So to get anything to work properly in Reason, you have to understand signal processing and like routing,
which is just unfair. Like that is a barrier to entry.
Yeah,
in its own way.
It's time consuming too, because like it doesn't just load it up and it works. It's I need to make sure I have space in my mixer. Am I mixing this down to enough tracks? Because you almost have to think of that as like, if you don't have a big enough mixer, it's not like Ableton Live or like a Logic Pro thing where you can have infinite tracks. It's like I have to sum this to a mixer somehow.
That's so silly.
Yeah,
like that's adding limitations to software that doesn't need it.
No, and like it's crazy that they will never adapt out of it too, because like even in new versions, I think a recent version of Reason came out in the last like year or two. It's the same thing. It just has some more integrations with like VST3 or like Apple's AU units you might be able to use in there, because Apple has their own proprietary audio crap.
Oh, is that kind of like the ASIO for all type thing? Is that what you're talking about?
Not quite.
Okay.
It would just be like the type of like audio unit it would be, which like AU I think stands for audio unit, but like a lot of VSTs might not be compatible with the Mac OS versus Windows, where it's like VSTs are just native, like they just work properly.
Yeah.
But
which is so cool.
Yeah, but like AU units do not work on Windows, and some VSTs do not work on Mac.
I hate that.
It's very annoying.
There's no reason.
Yeah.
There's ways around it.
Yeah.
Everything is so unified nowadays. There's no reason to do that type of shit.
Right.
It's just it's almost like it's like the laziest form of come over to our platform.
Yeah.
You want to do that? Then come, spend $2,000 on a Mac then.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
Which, like, granted, I loved when I had a Mac until I didn't. There's times now where I'd be like, it'd be really nice to have a Mac just for like other things too. Like even now, like I have my Pixel and I like my Pixel, but like there's just so many times where I'm like, fuck, having an iPhone would just be way easier right now.
Yeah, I
or
was
more convenient in different ways.
I was resistant to the iPhone for a long time. I was a hardcore Android guy, and everybody in my family was on iPhone, and I don't want to say I felt left out, but it was like annoying. Like if they wanted to like video call me or something, it was difficult.
I know that's such a big thing with Apple's like model and stuff, is like
it's a walled garden.
Yeah, so many people just FaceTime, which is ideally a better way to communicate with someone if you're trying to communicate in that sense.
Yeah,
but like
it's
there's really no equivalent on the Android OS unless you're doing like a Skype call or something.
Yeah,
or they have like the Google thing, but
they have Duo and stuff. But the problem with Google is that they don't stick with something.
Yeah.
They like do all these like new products and it's like, oh wow, this is a revolutionary thing. Like fucking, do you remember Inbox? Inbox by Google?
They like basically reinvented how
email interface was, like user interface.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was awesome. I completely converted because it basically turned your email inbox into like a to-do list.
Okay.
So you could like, once you read an email or whatever, there was a check mark next to it. And like if you replied to it or did the thing that the email required from you, you could hit that check mark and it archived it and it went away. So you could have an empty inbox when you like finished all your things. And it was like a really good way to feel like you accomplished things. And then they just scrapped it. You like, it just went away. You can't use it anymore. And like, I fully converted to it for like years. I fucking loved it. Because the thing about like office work and like digital work is like, you don't get at the end of the day, like if you're building something at the end of the day, you can stand back and like, you know, put your hands on your hips and be like, I've made this thing, and you get to look at it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
You don't really get that as much with digital shit.
Right.
So it enabled me to feel like, oh, you know, I went through however many fucking emails or whatever and did all these tasks, and I have evidence because I just have the picture of the sun here in the background, and there's no emails in my inbox. I caught up.
Right.
And they just totally scrapped it, and they took some of the features and put it into Gmail, but not the good parts.
Yeah. It's so weird. There's certain features in Gmail that I just don't understand how anyone could use them. Like the like chat features and stuff at the bottom.
Yeah, Google Chat's dead, dude.
Yeah, that shit doesn't work. I used it once because a professor in college made me use it, and now I have this motherfucker in my inbox that's just sitting down there. I'm like, sorry, Jeffrey, I don't feel like hanging out with you.
And that's like another thing is like, so there's Google Messenger, used to be called Google Hangouts.
Yeah.
Google Hangouts. So I used to have an Android phone and I had Google Fi phone service and everything. So it was all integrated. And I wore Google Glass as well. You can call me whatever you want.
Yeah,
but
there's some old pictures of Chris with Google Glass. I wonder if they're still on the...
I literally wore Google Glass every single day for over 3 years. I was obsessed with it. It's some of the coolest.
How did I wave during a podcast? Way to break the fourth wall of me. Are you in here?
There. Yep, there's me with Google Glass.
I love how almost everyone on here does not work here.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
It's you and
Mike. Yep, that's it. Yeah, I used to develop vape flavors. There you go. So did Jared.
Yeah. That'll be a conversation a whole other day.
Yeah,
we can really nerd out about flavoring and just profiles of stuff.
But back to my point, the Google Glass, Google Fi, Google Hangouts, all that stuff. When I had all that synced up back in the day when this was a thing, if I got a phone call or a text, I could answer it on my computer. I could answer it on my phone. I could answer it on my glasses. It didn't matter where. It all went everywhere. Same with text, same with emails. That shit was the most seamless thing I've ever experienced. It was so fucking cool.
Which is what Apple gets right so much. Everything is integrated within their whole OS is just the same throughout every
exactly. It all talks. So now, like people that have like an iPad and an iMac and a MacBook and an Apple Watch and an iPhone, you can do the same deal. Like I have an Apple Watch now, and it's convenient because like I've gotten texts during this podcast, and I'm able to just like glance at them and you know, dismiss them. I can even answer them from here if I want. But I really miss that, and Google continuously fucks that up. And it makes me really sad because they used to do a great job.
Yeah, Google, you're fucking it up, dude.
Like Google, for the love of God, just stick with things. Give them more than a year. And like, you should just, once it's adopted by people, you need to just leave it as a feature. Even if you take away the like parent product or whatever, integrate it elsewhere where it makes sense. Because there's no reason that there isn't a FaceTime equivalent for Android. I mean, there is Duo, but nobody uses Duo.
Yeah.
You should build it into Hangouts or Messenger or whatever. And it should just be like on an iPhone, when you pull up somebody's contact, there's phone call, text, FaceTime. You can just hit the FaceTime button and call them.
Yeah.
And then you're on a video call.
Yeah. There's so many, which I guess is like the core of Android's model is it's not, I guess, a monopolized type thing. You can get different third-party things to do that. But the fact that exists also fucks it up at the same time. Yeah. Because nothing is ever fully optimized for every device. Like, even just, like, pictures and stuff. Sending just, like, a Snapchat or something. Like, if I sent it to you or, like, send you a video that I took and it's fucking nice on my phone, it will just not fucking look right.
Exactly.
And vice versa. You'll send me something and it looks like you shot it on like old fucking Nokia brick.
Exactly. But if I send it through iMessage, the other person gets it in like full 1080p or whatever.
Yeah.
And like live pictures, all that stuff. And what's most frustrating is that Google is really the company doing the innovation.
Yeah.
Like they came out with almost any feature an iPhone has, Google did have first. I think that's an objective truth, but they abandoned it or did a bad job of it where it's like clunky and not user friendly. And Apple's like, oh yeah, it just is now.
Yeah.
Like you can be on a phone call on your iPhone. I can be talking to somebody on the phone and they're like, hey, I want to show you something. And then there's a FaceTime button in the phone call. And then it just becomes a FaceTime.
Yeah.
It's completely seamless. It doesn't hang up or anything like that. It just switches.
Yeah.
And like, we all know Google can.
Yeah. Google, you like own the internet.
Yeah. You
like
literally have a monopoly.
You're it. You have your own browser. Like you've made it.
It's so upsetting. It
was debatably one of the best browsers for a long time.
Yeah. Now it's creepy.
Yeah.
Like, way to go, Google. You really learned to fuck it up.
Yeah. You're lucky I don't like Firefox. So I'm just with you now.
And here we are complaining about it on Google's platform, YouTube.
Yep. Yeah. And while I'm using Chrome.
Yep. Yeah.
And Google Suite.
Yeah. They really got us.
Yeah. And with my Google phone.
Those fucking bitches.
I thought I was being smart. I'm like, you know what? We do everything through Google Suite. Let me just get a phone. And I can make my work so much easier. And I'm like, fuck this phone.
It's really not any better.
I'm over it. I want to distance myself again.
Yeah. I never thought I would say it, but you should probably just get an iPhone.
I will when my contract is up or when I can upgrade. Because like the thing that got me to move to an Android phone first was my MacBook dying.
Mm-hmm.
When that was like, when it died the first time and I built a PC, I was like, well, my integration with my computer is not really there anymore.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the time, like I would never have my phone on me and I would just do all my texts, everything just through my Mac. And once that wasn't an option anymore, it's like, well, I'm just here with a fucking iPhone and I have to be doing everything through like Windows OS. So it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And now it's like, because a lot of it too was like having to sync things with your computer, syncing things to iPhone when you would want to keep physicals of shit on your phone and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's how long it's been since I've had an iPhone. It has been since probably last time I had it, 2015.
It's come a long way.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. It's been 7 years. They've definitely done some good shit. And every time I'm like, no, I don't really want it this time. Like the last time I got this like right before all like the COVID stuff. And it's been 2 years. And I'm like, fucking, can I just get an upgrade soon? My parents, so I'm all like on a plan and stuff with my parents, and they just steal the upgrades whenever it's mine all the time. My parents are always getting new phones, and I'm like, hey, I need to really upgrade soon. My shit's all fucked up, and they're like, oh, I just got a new one.
Oh,
sorry.
I got the Galaxy that folds now.
Yeah, oof, you probably have to wait like 9 months before there's another upgrade, and then it gets there, and it's like, ooh, your dad just took it a little too early. Ooh, sorry.
Be better, Google.
Yeah.
I said it.
Yeah.
There, I said it.
Long story short, Google, you're fucking me.
So I mean, I guess we can loop back to a little bit of design.
Yeah.
Something I've been kind of obsessed with, and it's kind of, in a way, it's like adjacent to skeuomorphism in a way, but it's like architectural typology, which is like,
You said that the other day, and I've already forgotten what it meant.
So it's really cool. It's how we know what a building is, without really knowing anything else about it. It's just by looking at it, you can tell what it is.
Yeah. Ergo, seeing a bank and knowing it's a bank.
Yeah, or a gas station. Like you can tell from like a mile away what a gas station looks like.
Yeah.
You know what a car dealership looks like. You know what a school looks like. You know, all these things.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that it kind of like is true all throughout human history. So like we're able to like dig up these ruins in like Egypt that are 4,000 years old. And we know, oh, this building's shaped this way. It was a temple. Oh, this was a house. This was
a McDonald's.
This was a McDonald's. Yeah. But like, it's just, it's like, it's so fascinating because it's kind of innately human to like it's a way to communicate usefulness and like purpose to somebody who can't even like read, for example.
Yeah.
And you know, for a lot of human history, the average person couldn't read,
Yeah.
so they needed to be able to be like, "There's church."
Yeah.
I'm
Or
walking
there
over
wasn't
there.
necessarily written language. It was, in a way, almost self-referential with like pictographic languages and stuff, where it's like, this is visually what this is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Or this is a representation of an idea.
yeah, it's an abstraction. It's like skeuomorphism in that way.
Yeah.
It is this thing, and you can tell it is because of the way it looks.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just find that shit so fascinating because, you know, at the end of the day, humans are social creatures, and we want to communicate ideas and stuff to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's so cool how you can do that without words in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You can do it without any kind of language except for design language.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been really going down the rabbit holes on like ancient civilizations.
Mm-hmm.
I guess because like once you realize that like those ancient people had like the same brains as us, they just were in a different circumstance.
Yeah.
It kind of like humanizes them in a different way to me. Like for a long time, I kind of just thought of them like, oh, there's like cavemen. Like they didn't think like us. They're just like making noises and burning themselves.
Yeah. Hitting rocks with sticks.
Yeah, exactly. But like they had
Making noises and burning themselves.
I mean, I think that you could sum up a lot of history of that happening.
Yeah, monkey ASMR was just all prehistoric history.
Yeah. And then you learn, oh, it hurts when I hit things.
Yeah. Like I just fucked my shit up.
But yeah, I don't know. Like that stuff is like just so cool to me, and it kind of is part of like the umbrella idea to me of like design is art.
Yeah.
And I think that they're often separated in people's minds. Especially as we learn more as a society about design, because you know, like the old like we're standing on the shoulders of giants kind of thing. Somebody had to invent each thing, and then it's like kind of like conversational how we keep pushing it forward and improving it. We're like polishing that turd in a way.
Yeah.
And like things like logo design, like I think that a lot of people approach it really analytically, and like they think of it as a science, and like if you do this then it will work, period. And that's not true.
Right.
It's kind of deeper than that. Like you can have what is mathematically a perfect design, but if it doesn't resonate with people, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like for example, we've experimented with our logo. I'm really fond of the aimbot logo. And it is a cat that is like based off of a video game controller.
Yeah.
And we've experimented with taking the cat away and like changing the fonts and stuff like that, adding different characteristics to the logo. But at the end of the day, I feel like it has to evoke something from people automatically.
Yeah.
Like the ultimate goal, really long term, like 20 years from now, when hopefully aimbot is a household name, we won't have to put the word aimbot anywhere.
Yeah.
Like on an Apple computer, like on my iPhone, there's just an apple on the back of it.
Bing bong.
You know that this is Apple computers.
Yeah. Yeah. Like mine's just got the G on there somewhere.
Yeah. And
Yeah. Google owns G too.
Yeah. Google owns the letter G. That's why they pivoted to becoming Alphabet, because they're like, we're just going to own all the letters. We're just going to slowly buy them all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hopefully like that is the goal, is like one day the cat, people will see that cat and they're like, oh, that's aimbot. You know, that's.
Yeah.
And I like to think that it'll happen. Only time will tell.
Yeah. I agree.
Feel free to roast our logo in the comments.
Yeah. You fucking cucks.
And like the last thing I want to talk about was like procedural art.
Okay. You have a lot more experience with at least the backbone of building something like this. I always see the result and I'm like, okay, Cool pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like math. I think we've talked about that before.
Yes.
I like literally buy math books for my own joy. Literally for fun. I just buy math textbooks.
Nerd.
And I'm somewhat of an amateur coder. I like programming. I'm not really good at it. And I think of procedural art as like a really cool stepping stone between art and code, because at the end of the day, like, I think code is a little bit of both. It is kind of an art, but it's very much a science, and it either works or it doesn't. But also, like, computers are just rocks that we tricked into thinking, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, like, you can make code that shouldn't work and it does work somehow because it just does.
Yeah, there's
You'll never know.
some connection being made that you didn't understand.
Yeah, and you can, like, make a mistake that creates a whole new result that you didn't expect.
Yeah.
Which is really fucking cool. So, like, I think anybody who wants to get into either art or coding, procedural art is a really good way to do it, because you can, you can take a principle like, I don't know, let's like say like the Fibonacci sequence or something. You can express that mathematically with code and then have it draw on the computer based on like that mathematic principle.
Yeah.
And get something out of it. And it also is kind of like a step. It's not really AI, but it's kind of got the essence of AI.
Yeah.
Because you're taking, you're like, to do like good procedural art, in my opinion, you have to embrace randomness and like chaos.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of tame the chaos of the force of randomness and get results that are kind of adjacent to each other. If you can pull up, there's one that I made. I call it Smart Deco. If you just,
is it in the thing?
No. Go. It's on GitHub. So search on there, one word, Smart Deco. Yeah, like Art Deco.
Smart decoder.
Try looking it up with like, hold on, let's see.
Smart Deco, GitHub. Are you Ted Barnett?
I'm not Ted Barnett.
Damn it. Are you?
We can edit this down.
Are you Kitchen Appliance Hood Frankie Smart Deco?
That's not me.
You are not speaking Arabic?
This is not it either.
Pretty sure you didn't list it, you nerd.
No, I definitely did. Hold on, let's see.
Cut this out. Don't cut it out. While you're talking about that, I can talk about Meat Core.
All right. Oh, here we go. I found it. I'm gonna put this in my notes.
Okay.
You have my notes pulled up, right?
I am going to do that. Okay, just working on it. There we go. There it do.
Very bottom.
There we go. Oh, you could have told me just to look up your username.
I did.
You said Art Deco.
So these are images that were spit out from a code thing I made. It was based off somebody else's code, and I played with it and turned it into its own thing. But basically what it does is it draws diagonal lines and then randomly colors them and then randomly chooses their thickness and their roundness. And it's just really dumb abstract stuff. But it's just an exercise in coding, really. I like JavaScript. And it's just like what it is it makes it like a little website, and you can just refresh it, and every time you refresh it, it's a new picture. And in theory, you would never have repeats of anything because there's so many layers of randomness. It'd be really hard to have it line up again. Almost impossible. And like my idea for it was to make like a wallpaper on your phone. So like every time you open your phone, you have a different slightly different wallpaper, but it has the generally same design language. Obviously this stuff doesn't look great. I intended to add like layers to it so that you would have like color palettes and like a little bit more structure to it. but it's hard. Color palettes are actually hard to do programmatically, like if you want it to be random.
I can imagine, yeah.
It takes a lot of forethought because you can do it like based on like color theory and then have it like do things on the other side of the, like you can choose a random color and then hop to the other side of the color wheel to make a complementary color and then like work from that. But like to have like 6 colors that are all complementary to each other is actually kind of hard to do programmatically, at least for me. I'm not a good programmer. But I don't know. I just like, there's a lot of way better artwork out there that people do with code. But it's really fun. I don't know. I think it's fun.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
You type words in a computer and then it makes pictures.
Brady.
I mean, that's about all I got for today.
Bet. You want to wrap things up with a little hear me out?
Yeah.
Let's run the graphic. Run the graphic. Hear me out. So if you know about Hear Me Out from our trial episode, it's hot takes, and the other person has to be devil's advocate for that hot take.
Period.
No
exceptions.
You have to find a way to counter argument this, and I hope you can find a way to counter argument this, because good luck. This is almost just an opinion more than a hot take,
okay,
or a comparison. So hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
Tinder is just Postmates for sex.
All right, I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Okay.
Anybody can get Postmates. Anybody.
Yeah.
Not anybody can just Postmates sex to their door. Like, for example, if you look like me, it ain't that easy.
Here's the thing. Have you ever ordered something from Postmates and they deny your delivery?
No, that's never happened to me.
Well, it's happened to me.
Oh.
And guess what? Happens for pussy.
Yeah, but see, that sounds like more like the exception to the rule and not the rule. Whereas
this is the 20-something century. We're in one of them. Have you seen those reports of people with like the Uber Eats thing and they're just leaving shit?
No, I've never
That's like an
seen
epidemic now. I mean, granted, this is not
epidemic, yeah.
But it's like people that don't tip initially
Mm-hmm.
on an Uber Eats thing are exponentially more likely for their driver to just never go pick it up.
Yeah, so I've heard of something adjacent to that. There's a thing called tip phishing.
Okay.
Where you'll place like an Uber Eats or a Postmates order and you put like a fat tip on it. Like say you order $30 of food and you put like a $15 tip on it.
Yeah.
So then people fucking jump on that and they go pick it up. And the thing is you can you have like, I think an hour after you order or receive your food to edit your tip. So they'll drop your food off and you go $0 tip. So then they make like $2 on that delivery when they thought they were going to make like 17.
Big shitty.
It's a really shitty move to do.
That's why I just give you a reasonable tip and I'm not going to add anything at the end.
Yeah.
It's like, here you go, dude. I know you got to drive. Here's letting you know, like, here's your 20 or your 15%.
Mm-hmm.
We're cool.
Yeah.
This is how much I would tip a waiter that has done shit for me.
Exactly.
You've driven your food to me and I'm already paying another premium to get it to come here.
Yeah.
I'm paying usually to get it expressed to me because I hate when I get like a stop or two in between mine that's out of the way.
Cold fries.
Cold fries, wet food.
Yeah, I hate that shit. And like honestly, it's like,
granted, I have it coming to me because I could have just fucking gone there.
Yeah, you have a car.
There's never not a reason why I couldn't have just gone and got the food.
I mean, but you're paying for the service, but also like adjacent to that thought, like I think it's a really shitty mindset to be like, well, I'm paying for the service. Why do I need to tip them?
Right.
Because like from what I understand, the base pay rate for like a delivery is something like $2.
Yeah.
So if they
you
have
gotta
to
almost optimize your own route.
Yeah.
For a generally random service.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not a scheduled thing. You're just grabbing what you can grab.
Exactly.
But figuring out how to optimize that to something that works for you.
Exactly. Yeah. Because like if it pops up, like if I was in that position and it was like 5-mile drive for this trip, $2.50, and you're gonna have to, so you have to drive from wherever you are to that restaurant and then wait however long it is, and I'm sure it's never instant.
Right.
So you have to sit there and wait, and that's money you're losing by just sitting there. And then you get the food, and then you drive it however many miles to their house, and then you have to walk up their goddamn stairs in their apartment complex and then drop it off. I would be fucking furious. I'd be absolutely livid if people fucking tip baited me. And
Now, how do you feel about tip baiting is catfishing?
It is.
Okay.
It 100% is.
So
it is the delivery equivalent of catfishing.
I'm trying to tie this back to.
Oh yeah, we kind of got derailed.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that there are okay, so let's say with averages, like if you were to say that somebody is average looking, would that make them a 5?
Average looking? Yes.
You would say that an average person is a 5 on the look scale?
Yeah. If
On
you
a
are
1 to
an
10?
if you're an average, you are the middle.
Okay. So
Which, to I guess, bring up another argument, 5's not that bad.
no, it's really not.
Numerically, it might not sound great because you're not a 10, but
Right.
like,
But that is kind of illustrative of like how hot a 10 really is.
yeah,
Like to be an actual 10.
like I would proudly accept. You look like a 5. I'd be like, sick.
Yeah, I'd be like, hell yeah, dude.
Dope.
Like,
I'll take a 5 over 4.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that indicates that looks are like a bell curve. And
Yeah.
so
There's yeah, you're right. There's the average is a majority of
people.
Yeah. There are the exceptions on either side of those,
Mhm.
and then there's like the gray areas in between those hyper extremes.
Right. So I mean, let's say that let's see what percentage. Let's look at. I'm just gonna look at the IQ bell curve because that's the first bell curve I could think of that like represents humanity.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say that most people on Tinder are on the lower end of that bell curve,
Right. So that's
at
actually
least near us.
you're walking right into my point.
Okay.
So what is this? 68% of people exist in the average range of IQ.
Okay.
That's like the high point of the bell curve.
Okay.
So that would be roughly I don't know, between like I think it's somewhere between like 80 and 110, somewhere in that ballpark. It's like
I think
average.
80's around that average.
I think the average IQ is somewhere around 100-ish. I think it's a little below 100.
I think we're getting worse, but let's see. Average IQ in the US, 98.
98. Okay, so that means let's just say it's 80 to 110 is that range for that 68% of people. So that means 32% of people lie outside of that. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't meet a lot of super geniuses.
I would agree. I feel like most of the time I'm not.
Yeah. So I think it can be kind of applied like seeing a really attractive person, like it gets everybody's attention. It's like, holy shit, like look how hot whoever that is.
Yeah.
Like everybody looks at them when they walk in the room. And I would say on the other end of the bell curve, when somebody profoundly ugly walks by, everybody in the room looks at it.
I agree with that.
And
Yeah.
when you're on Tinder, it's the world's biggest room that you're walking into. And so if you are in that almost 40% of people outside of the average, you're either really hot and everybody's swiping right, or you're kind of fugly and everybody's swiping left. So when somebody does swipe right, I would agree that you probably have a pretty good chance of sealing the deal. But I mean, in my limited experience on Tinder, I'll be honest, I haven't spent a lot of time in the dating world as an adult. There was a long portion of my life, like especially when I was around your age, I had no interest in being in a relationship. I just didn't care. I was focused on business and like doing stuff that I perceived as cool.
Oh, you mean like me right now?
Like you right now. Yeah, you're going through exactly the same thing that I went through.
Yeah.
And I got mocked for it or whatever. It doesn't matter. But
I watched people mock you for it. I mocked you for it.
yeah, everybody did.
Even though I was in it with you.
Yeah, and joke's on y'all, I'm getting married now, so it works out.
Joke's on you. I'm alone and crying.
But the times I was on Tinder, there were some there were a lot of like obvious like bots, like obvious like catfish, like super babes that would
Can you please give me your crypto wallet information? Okay, thanks.
But there were also some that were like pretty normal looking girls, and we matched or whatever, and then they'd be like, hey, I saw you on here. You should text me on this app because this app is so cool and it allows me to do blah, 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 blah. It was catfishing scheme. So I think that the lower you are on the bell curve of attractiveness, like the uglier you are, the higher the rate is that you'll have those. And that will dilute the pool of potential P word securing.
Okay.
That's my logic.
Okay. I don't know if that negates or adds to my argument.
I mean, if we're going by the law of averages, I would say that it's only Postmates for P word for the upper echelon.
Here's the thing. On Postmates, not every option for food is going to be a 10. Sometimes you got to send yourself some McDonald's.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. Sometimes you get some food and you get some food poisoning. There's a lot of analogies I can make here. There's more analogies than not.
So you're saying like food poisoning is the chlamydia?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I almost unplugged my headphones.
I thought you just just fuck that camera.
That's fucking funny. All right. Well, I guess the answer's somewhere in the middle then.
Okay. Agree to disagree.
Deal.
Right. You heard me out.
Yeah. I heard you out.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You got one, or did you good?
I don't have one. I'm
All
sorry.
right.
I wasn't ready.
Come with some heaters next time.
Next week I will have a spicy one for you.
Bet. All right.
All right. Well, this has been Talking with Shiznit. Follow us on all platforms at drinkaimbot everywhere, and aimbot.energy or aimbot.energy.com.
Yep. linktr.ee/drinkaimbot for everything in case you want it all in one place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll see you around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.